Earlier on in the year, a brand new shooter from Square Enix, Foamstars, did get revealed, and yeah, I did make a video at the time talking about it. It did get accused of being a Splatoon clone, but in that video I did say that I wanted to play the open beta just to check it out, because of course it is similar in some ways to Splatoon. I am a massive fan of Splatoon, so yeah, I wanted to check out to see whether Foamstars would be any good or not. So at the weekend I did play the open beta, however you want to pronounce it, on my PS5. I did play it for around about 8 hours, and yeah, in this video I want to give my thoughts, because yeah, although a lot of people say yeah, this is a Splatoon rip-off, it is, you know, obviously trying to go after that Splatoon money, and yeah, they are right in some ways. This game is a little bit different to Splatoon. So pretty much it is a 4v4 shooter. Instead of shooting ink, you shoot out foam. In the open beta, we did have 2 game modes to play. One of them was pretty much like a team deathmatch sort of situation, but with a twist. So pretty much you had to kill as many opponents on the opposition team, and then pretty much their star player would appear, and if you did shoot down their star player before they shot down your team's star player, you would win. And that was a really fun game mode to play, and that was the main reason why I did play the open beta for 8 hours. The other one was like a 2 versus 2 game mode, where pretty much 2 people from each team would be outside of the area and would try and help out the people inside of the area by using their abilities. And speaking of abilities, pretty much the controls work in this way. So pretty much each character has an L1 and R1 ability. Depending on what hero you do pick, either your L1 or R1 ability can be used twice before you do have to wait for that to fill up again. And yeah, you do have a special weapon as well. I'm not sure what the particular name is for it in this game, but yeah, you do have a special weapon like what you do have in Splatoon. That does fill up over time, or it can fill up the more foam you do put on the map, or the more kills you do get, or as they call it in this game, they don't call it kills, they call it chills. If you do press L2, the ZL sort of equivalent, instead of swimming around in ink in Splatoon, in Foamstars, you will be surfing on top of the foam. But unlike Splatoon, where with the action you would reload at the same time, reloading is a completely separate action. You have to press square to reload, and it does take you out of the action a little bit. So that is pretty much what Foamstars is about. So here are my thoughts about it. So yeah, speaking of the controls, it's not as fluid as Splatoon. Like I said, the reloading, it does take you out a little bit. The gameplay is not as fast, it's not as smooth as Splatoon. I really do miss reloading and sprint being one button like what it is in Splatoon. Reloading, it really does take you out of the action. It does take quite a while depending on what hero you do pick. And that is the thing. You cannot pick a weapon. So say like if you like to use close range weapons, you can't pick a weapon. You have to pick a hero based on that sort of gameplay style. But here is the thing. Only one hero can be picked on one team, so you could be left with a hero you don't really like. And I found within the open beta that pretty much only 2 heroes were worth playing as. Penny Gwyn, who was like a penguin themed character, I really did like her theming. Pretty much her special weapon, you would see like a massive emperor penguin swim around the stage. Her abilities were penguin themed as well, and there was pretty much the main character you do see, I do believe her name is Soa. But apart from that, I feel like the other characters are a little bit useless. I really don't like how you can only be one hero per team. So yeah, in Splatoon, you wouldn't see like everybody using an aerospray. Only one person would use an aerospray. I don't like that. I really don't. I'd rather use what I want to use and not be stuck with somebody I don't want to play as. And yeah, another way the gameplay is a lot slower than Splatoon is pretty much when you do try and kill someone, or chill them as Foamstars does put it, pretty much they go in a foam ball before you do get that chill. In order to confirm the chill, you have to slide over them, and that is how you would appear in the kill feed, and that is how you would get the announcer announcing the character saying, oh, Penny Gwyn got the chill, or something like that. But here is the thing, if an enemy does slide over that foamed enemy, then pretty much you wouldn't get that chill. So pretty much all of the work you put in, you could outplay someone, but because you couldn't really get to them because of the foam. And yeah, another sort of criticism I do have with this game is that it's not as easy to ink the enemy sort of turf like you could do inking the enemy ink in Splatoon. I really did find it hard to move around in this game compared to Splatoon. It's not as fluid, it's not as smooth as just inking over enemy ink and then going on your way to try and get to the opposition. Movement is a little bit limited in some aspects, so you might not be able to get to the enemy that you did outplay, and then either a teammate could come along and then confirm the chill, and then they would appear in the feed. Even though you were the one who shot them, they would appear in the feed, although you would get confirmed the chill on your screen and at the end results. Also, like if an enemy does come along and slide them, that means that you wouldn't get that chill even if you did, like, you know, pretty much put in all of the work. So I really didn't like that aspect. And pretty much if you did get into a foam ball and then an enemy does come along and slide into you, or a teammate doesn't save you after a short amount of time, there is a respawn counter there. So again, the gameplay is not as quick as Splatoon, where you die and then you respawn pretty much straight away. Or even before that, if you are like rolling around in a foam ball, again that does slow down the gameplay even more. Add that into the fact that reloading is not tied to the sprint button and all of the stuff that I didn't mention earlier. The gameplay is not as fast, it's not as smooth, it's not as good in my opinion as Splatoon. Visibility, a lot of people did point this out earlier on in the year with just the reveal trailer, but having played it for 8 hours, visibility is definitely a big problem. When there is a lot of foam up on the stage, it is hard to spot enemies even though they are outlined. You do have like an outline of them all of the time. It can be hard to see what the hell is going on most of the time with all of the stuff that is happening with the foam being put on the stage and people using their abilities as well as their special weapons. It's just way too chaotic. There is just way too much visual clutter. I definitely feel like one of the updates Foamstars does need is to turn down the brightness and the contrast of the foam. It was definitely really difficult to see. The game does have gyro, but for me it was absolutely rubbish, so I turned it off. The camera would be constantly out of sync. It just wasn't as good as the gyro in Splatoon. There was just way too many errors as well. I did put up a short showing it off, but there were bugs as well. It's like there was one time where I couldn't use my surfboard, so I couldn't slide over enemies and confirm the chill. I couldn't even get out of my spawn at one point. I went into the water and died instantly because the game wouldn't propel me into the battlefield. So yeah, those bugs and errors need to be ironed out before the game does come out in early 2024. But the game definitely does have potential. It definitely does. And yeah, with a few updates, and I feel like it can be in a better place. I really do like the game modes. The stages are a lot better than in Splatoon 3 in my opinion. They are just simple. They were better than the stages in Splatoon 3 because they did have flanking routes. So there is potential there for this game. But there is no need for me to play Foamstars when I do have Splatoon 3, which I feel like is a much better game. I just like how I can splat someone and I get the kill straight away. I just don't feel like the game will survive as long as it needs to for it to get those updates that it does need, for it to reach its full potential, because it does seem to be a full price game from its PS Store listing, because it does require PS Plus to play, so it will not be a free to play game. I just don't feel like Square Enix will have this game up for that long. I could just see in a year's time the game will be shut down, because it didn't really seem like the open beta it didn't really seem like it did that well online in terms of viewership on YouTube, on stuff like Twitch. So yeah, I will be sticking to Splatoon 3. I will not be picking up Foamstars. Let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section below.